Hey everybody, good evening. This is Bianca. I just wanted to say what's up to you all. Um, I'm at home on this breezy early Wednesday evening, and as y'all can see, the moon's in the background, so I want to make sure I get a good shot of that. And I see a light glaring over my eyebrow. It must be because I'm recording in front of my car, or the fact that the street light over here is in my glare in front of my house. But um, I took a little time to kind of get my thoughts together because I've been going through a lot of things personally in my life the last few days. And yesterday, even though the our annual presidential elections was and is still going to be a trending topic for the next several weeks, maybe possibly into the rest of the year. Um, My plan originally yesterday was to record a video about relationships. I've never recorded one before, and it was on my heart to do it because my aunt and one of my our me and Christy's very good friend of ours at work. We had a big discussion about about relationships and stuff, and lack of trust and lack of honesty and all this other stuff. And it's ironic and how fitting it is that we were going to talk about, well, rather me, I was going to record a video, asking, questions about, where's the disconnect in our relationships with our men and women, and why so many people cheat and lie and do dishonest things when you have a choice to be honest, when you have a choice to do the right thing and do what's right. And how fitting it is that in the wake of Donald Trump becoming our president-elect, that the thing about honesty and relationships and brokenness would kind of come in relation to that. So it's something about the way God does things and shows you things to where he can just turn your whole dynamic of what you were expecting to talk about to something that's more important. So tonight I want to share with y'all my thoughts on that. Like I said, I was very much prepared to give an honest discussion for the first time in my life about where in our black community, where we have such a disconnect in our relationships. And God showed me tonight and today all around that the disconnect in our relationships is a lot bigger than just in our homes. It's bigger it's big in our country right now. I read a lot of the posts, more than I could stomach and take in, to the point of tears. And I was hurt, and yes, I'm just as disappointed and just as still in shock and disbelief as most of you all out here. But I just recently shared a picture of my 3-year-old niece Zoe. Her and her in her mother's Halloween costume from last year that she wore. And I thought about her, and I thought about where she is now. She's 3 years old, already in pre-K, and already taking and learning in her nursery school, or pre-K rather, learning things at a grade level ahead of her age. I think about Zoe, and I think about my niece Delana. Y'all know how much I talk about them to y'all all the time. Those that know me know how much I dote and love my two nieces very much. They're my babies. Even though I didn't give birth to them, and even though they're my brother's children, they're still my babies. And they're not just my babies. They're also my future. They're my brother's future. They're our future. And those of you who are parents, have kids, These kids are our future. So in the wake of what's happened in the elections, everybody go ahead and get your anger out. Everybody go ahead and get your emotions out. Everybody go ahead and get your feelings out. All your memes, all the name calling and stuff. Go ahead and get it out your system, because I'm guilty. I kind of signed on and participated in some of it too, and laughed and chuckled that, oh, our world is doomed, and oh, we gotta if Donald Trump becomes president, I'm gonna move to Canada. Well, as y'all can see, the immigration site to Canada has shut down, so everybody was, panicking and running for the hills or whatever. And, all this stuff I'm just been hearing. If you voted for Donald Trump and you're not my friend anymore. And I'm like, however y'all believe this country is messed up or whatever, the people have spoken. I'm not going to go into a whole big thing about who voted for who and who didn't, because at the end of the day, what matters is what we do right now. What are you going to do now? If you fail and give up right now, what's the whole point in showing everybody who still believe what this country actually stands for? And I'm going to tell y'all something. I know I'm a woman, and I know I'm black. I'm a black woman. But I also know in where I stay. I know where I'm born. I'm born in Decatur, Georgia, United States of America, March 23rd, 1979. And I am a naturalized United States of America citizen. One nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I still believe in it. And you know something? Regardless of what's going on, this is still God's country. Even though Donald Trump, who's inexperienced and who's known for being a playboy, big shot, billionaire, and businessman, who's been married 3 times and all this other stuff, who has been married to 3 trophy wives, one of which one of y'all, and y'all know who y'all are, said looked like a wet Siamese cat, all jokes aside or whatever. At the end of the day, even though they're in office, I still do believe. And for those of you who said, just putting out all these memes and all this other stuff about God, still on the throne, God is still my savior and all this other stuff, you should never have any doubts about that. There should never be any doubt about that. You don't have to post it if you don't, you should never have any doubt, regardless of who's in office. If it was President Reagan, God rest his soul, both of President Bush's father and son, even if it was Richard Nixon or President Jimmy Carter or even President Clinton. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. If you stand by your faith, if you stand by what you believe, if you stand by your beliefs and what you know in your heart is right, then you should never have any doubts. You should never have any doubts about what just happened and what transpired over the last 24 hours. You shouldn't have any doubts. If you have faith in God, there's no reason to go running for the hills, running for the borders to Canada, to Mexico, to London, to Puerto Rico, to Japan, or even to Antarctica. It doesn't make a difference, because trouble is everywhere. You can't avoid it. That's just like going to a neighborhood, going to a better neighborhood or whatever, like a better neighborhood where you think is quiet and nothing is going to go on, and something happens. Trouble is everywhere. But as long as you trust in God and have faith and know that He's got everything under control, y'all should never have any doubts. And I didn't have any doubts But I was more saddened that a lot of people were all in their emotions and in their feelings and upset about what happened. I wasn't necessarily too shocked, but at the same time, I was kind of more shocked at the lack of faith that some of y'all had last night. But when I took a look at Zoe's picture this morning, I literally tried to break myself from crying because I thought about that baby. I thought about everybody else's babies. And I'm thinking about where I am right now in my life as living as a single woman on my own with a lot of bills, getting harassed right now by a bunch of bill collectors right now, wondering when I'm going to make the next payment on my credit card bills, when I'm going to make the next payment on this bill, that bill, all this other stuff. When I'm going to get my car fixed. When what I'm trying to say? Life goes on, y'all. Life goes on. It's what you choose to make of it. And for my baby Zoe, my auntie's baby Zoe, and my big baby Delana, auntie's baby, for her and for everybody else and for the rest of y'all, and for my elders, my grandma Bessie, who's 78 years young and alive and well and got out here and voted with my Aunt Christy, for her, for everything that she had to endure during the, living through the civil rights movement and living through World War II as a young child and all this other stuff. For my mama, for my dad, who worked very hard as he did to own his own business because he believed in the American dream and believed in being your own boss and being your ownership, not just as a black man, as a black business owner, but as an owner. My dad believed in the American dream. And they didn't work hard for me just so I could sit on my behind and do absolutely nothing and depend on man to take care of me, whether it be through food stamps, EBT cards, whatever. And I'm not trying to be funny and be disrespectful, but I'm trying to be honest with y'all. Stop depending on man for everything to take care of y'all. If those of y'all, if you believe in God and believe in His word, you stand on it. Don't depend on man to get you through everything. Y'all go to church. Y'all know what's up. Y'all know what this is. Come on. But that's all I really wanted to say. I'm glad that God kind of changed the dynamic on what I wanted to talk about and redirected what I wanted to say to y'all to somewhere else. And I know I'm just rambling and maybe I'm not making sense, but I just hope that through all of this, that some of y'all don't do nothing crazy and get yourselves into more trouble than get into any type of trouble that you don't need to be in. Because I'm going to tell you something, the future of your children is no good if you're behind bars, locked away in a penitentiary or dead. Well, that's all I have to say, y'all. And I hope this message gets on Facebook with the time frame in which I spoke. So I hope y'all had time to, take some time out to kind of listen to what I had to say for almost 14 minutes I'm talking for right now. So I love each and every one of you with the love of the Lord. Do not give up. Continue to fight. Continue to press on. And I'm going to go ahead and get my little rotund behind in this house because I'm kind of under the weather right now and it's breezy and chilly out here. And I love you all again with the love of the Lord, and God bless you. And no matter what, He is still on the throne. If you say it, believe it, live it, fight for it. Our kids and their kids' lives depend on it, and so on and so forth. I'll talk to you all later. Deuces.